Archetype, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign. Welcome to your Path of True Love read, your timeless Path of True Love read. I am your reader, Angelo Lyons, Mal for short. Professional witch, professional intuitive, president of Drawing the Circle Production since 1998, author of Words of Grace from a Professional Witch, available on Kindle, the Archangel of Lyons, Angelo Lyons. But you can call me Mal, and I am Pisces Moon, and this is the last read of the series, and very, very happy to be serving my mer people, my fishy family. So let's get up in this gig. If you are new to the channel, there is a video in the description box explaining what a Path of True Love reading is, as well as a lot of links on the Path of True Love itself. To kind of thumbnail it, it is your hero's journey, your healing journey, your spiritual path, all of that through the lenses of the different relationships that you have in your life, that as you move through them, grow with them, move from them, however it plays itself out, you are becoming the true love that you are, which makes it a lot easier to manifest true love relationships in your life in general. So lots in there in the description box if you want to go deeper into that. We are doing a basic Celtic Cross, 2 decks for the Celtic Cross and some other cards thrown in for clarity. So it is a general read. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't. Not all of these readings are always about romance. They can be. That's a general read for you. But that's why you might want to check your other signs, because your Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus signs might get 4 different relationships in your life. And as you progress in healing one of them, all of them shift, because you are the common denominator. Got it? Cool. So let's get up in this gig. Let me say, I love getting up in this gig. All the decks that I read are always in the bottom of the description box. There's even a video down there, booking a reading with Mal. If you want to book me for a private reading, I'm putting together my Patreon. I'm so excited for that. All sorts of stuff going to go on there, and that's where the extended readings will go when I get back to doing them. Otherwise, both feet on the floor if you can. Focus on your breath if you will. I will do the same to get you the clarity, guidance, and grace that I can on the path of true love, which the world needs everybody to really look at where they are on the path of true love, what's going on planet Earth. So, please, take a nice deep breath. Feels good. Here we go. We're going to start with the Caroline Mace Archetype deck. Our collective pantheons. I'm a Pisces Moon. I call upon our collective pantheons of angels, archangels, goddesses, gods, ascended masters of the path of true love, the higher selves of all involved, 5th dimension and above, 8th chakra and above, as well as the spirit animals and totems for the Piscean collective. Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign watching this video, receiving this reading. I need 2 Caroline Mace Archetype cards to represent the 8th chakra dynamic for the Pisces, as well as whoever is crossing their path on the path of true love. Either one of them can be the Pisces, so they have to feel that out for themselves. So, person number 1 in the soul contract. What do we got going on there? The Exorcist. Beware pea soup. Crossing their path. Who's crossing their path on the path of true love? The Engineer. Now, this is an interesting combo. There are 9 different families of archetypes, groupings, if you will. The Exorcist is definitely, I know, it's a weird word, I know. Another name for this can be the Shaman, and when I read it, you'll see why. But it is the Divine Family archetype, where the Engineer is the Creative Family archetype. So someone really developing their spiritual gifts, powers, etc. The other, they're creative in this. So this could be a work thing, like I said, could absolutely be romantic, but that's why we got a lot more cards to hit the table. Let's talk about this one. The shadow attribute is what is being healed or needs to be healed. The light is what you are shooting for, where you would be on the other side of the healing, but it's never done all at once, and it's a percentage scale. So, see how this feels, my Pisceans or cross watchers. The shadow attribute, fear of facing your own demons. I mean, that's just ancient, right? But your own demons, not demons in and of themselves, fallen angels, but your own fears that have built up over a long period of time. We all have them. The light attribute, freeing yourself and others of destructive impulses. This is about shadow work, the shamanic descent. This is definitely a spiritual power. I don't call myself a shaman, nor do I call myself an exorcist, but certainly as a mystic, shadow work is part of my gig, and that's the next series of readings I'm doing at the time of this recording, the full moon to new moon shadow reads. So, this is about feeling what you don't want to feel, because if you don't feel it and heal it, the only way out is through, it ends up possessing you. It's called shadow possession. It's like being possessed by a demon. But it could be fear, greed, jealousy, the stuff that you don't want to look at in the shadow, facing your inner demon. So if you're the Pisces, there's an emotional way to do that. But ask for help, right? And not just those in the invisible. Ask people in the visible as well. The engineer, way more practical, though a creative family archetype. The shadow, reliance on mechanistic solutions without regard for emotional consequences, which is why this could be a very toxic situation. If someone doesn't care what the other person is feeling and the other person is not dealing with what they are feeling, that can be pretty horrendous. But the light attribute, ability to give creative energy a practical expression. Now think of that. Creative energy can go in all these different directions, but to give it a practical expression is important. A talent for designing resolution to common dilemmas. Yeah, everybody has the common dilemma of not facing their emotions because they're uncomfortable, if not painful and excruciating, but can come up with a, hey, we'll find a way through this, let's find a way, because everybody's got pain, everybody's, So this could be very helpful or very toxic, depending on the spectrum from shadow to light. And that's why we have the Daughters of the Moon Tarot. We're going to start laying down our Celtic Cross here. Since we have the 8th chakra dynamic over the head, these will be the next 4 down. The crown chakra, which is spiritual power, obviously going on here with the Exorcist. The third eye, mental power, very well may be. The third eye for the engineer, third chakra, willpower, choices and decisions, and emotional power, heart chakra, which emotions are sort of in both of these. Please take a nice deep breath. As I call upon my goddesses of water, the sign of Pisces and powers of the West. 10 cards, face up, one at a time, for the Piscean collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign, or cross watcher watching this video, receiving this reading. We start with an Exorcist in the cover position. What's heart, third eye crown going on there? The High Priestess. Okay. So there is a definite spiritual vibe here. So, what is a priest or a priestess? A vehicle through which the divine works. A channel, if you like that. But it's very soft of eye and light of touch. Speaky little, listen much, yeah? So that's a very, very powerful dynamic there. First card down, Major Arcana. You're dealing with something big here if you're the Exorcist. Let's look at the engineer here, please, my goddesses. What's going on in there? Heart, third eye crown. Good. A court card. This is the Libra card, Skadi, the North Wind, the Mother of Blades, which would be the King of Swords in traditional tarot. So when it's a court card on the inside, it's about the house dynamic. 7th house, partnerships, relationships, marriage, legal, balance, all that kind of stuff. So, again, does this scream romantic sexual? No, but 7th house is ruled by Venus, so there's definitely some love going on here on the path of true love. My goddesses, what's at the core of this? Third position, what they may not be aware of, except that we have a High Priestess here on the table who's probably more connected to the subconscious, their intuition here. What's going on there at the core, please? Leave it in my hand. The Star. 2 out of 3 Major Arcana cards here. This is about inspiration and hope. following your star, following your guidance and grace. Now, I say it over and over. To me, the star is the most high vibrational spiritual card in the tarot because it is just higher in altitude in the point of view of planet Earth. You get the moon, the sun, the star, right? So definitely, this is a spiritually guided thing. I believe all relationships are. Soul contracts, the soul, right, being engaged here. But this is really about guidance coming in a way that may not be obvious to an engineer. And if that priestess is sort of freeing themselves, and again, it's the Exorcist archetype, but with that high priestess, really kind of doing the emotional work here for themselves and not really talking about it, throat chakra thing there, then this person could be very in touch with that. And again, if you don't like the word exorcist, use shaman, because they're not exactly the same thing, but they're really close. All right, my goddesses, what is behind them on the path that got them here? Another court card, and not just another court card, another air sign, Gemini, the Maiden of Blades. That would be the Knight of Swords, the fastest moving knight of the four. Hina, definitely we see her with butterfly wings, right? So third house dynamic. There is communication in third house dynamic. It's also self-expression. I wouldn't go so far as research, but exploration, right? It's like, ooh, let me learn that. Ooh, I want to look at that. I want to look at that. Ooh, squirrel. Well, butterfly, squirrel. A little distractive. And I get the feeling that once we get the second 10 down with the Mythic Tarot, we'll get a little bit more of what that's about. Could even certainly be mental exploration, right? Strong Mercury vibe there for sure. All right, what's crowning this thing? Fifth position. We've got the moon. So now you have 3 out of 5 major arcana cards going on here in the outer. And considering the 5th position, the 1st position, and the 3rd position are a vertical line here, we are looking at a very intense spiritual alignment. But what do we know about the moon? It is a card of mystery. Things are cloudy. But what I love about this card, it's Yemaya, by the way, and it's a beautiful card and a beautiful energy, that there are things we're not supposed to know mentally because we're supposed to follow our hearts, or at least our intuition. Every chakra has its own form of intuition, but this is definitely an element of water thing here. When you stand at a large body of water, when the moon is full, no matter where you walk, that moonlight will show the path always under your feet. It's always there, but we don't always see it or feel it until we tune to it. So that's something that's eventually going to come into physical form. It's hovering, it's going to come down, but free will is essential for both of these characters here, these people, this exorcist and this engineer. All right. What lay before them on the path of true love, please? Just around the river bend. What's going on there? Okay, here we go. The emotions are going to be felt and dealt with. The Four of Cups. In this deck, the key word is sorrow. And maybe that's not how this manifests, as much as it can be about emotional release. With the amount of, it seems, things hidden, kept here behind, this doesn't feel like this is going to be done publicly or shared. But like I said, the next 10 cards we lay down on top of these 10 will clarify that a bit more. For me, the emotional range of the Four of Cups, it's not the Five of Cups. Five of Cups is real emotional, almost devastation, drastic change. But this can be anywhere from bored, disappointed, sadness is sure in there. But it certainly connotates some sort of emotional sense of loss, whether or not it has to do with each of you. In other words, if both of these people have the fear of loss, and who doesn't, that needs to be looked at and explored. And again, this could easily be a family relationship or a work relationship. But to look at that, what I'm getting here for this engineer now with that is that they do want to balance this out. They want to make sure it's mentally, emotionally healthy. So I'm not kind of getting that vibe that there's no regard for emotional consequences here. But they want to kind of design some resolutions to what everybody goes through, the dilemmas, the common dilemmas everybody has. I like it. Not a bad vibe on these. Let's see. What is the lesson? Position number 7. What the universe is trying to teach them. Heart, third eye crown, the internal lessons here. And we've got the universe, the world, Shakti, the life dancer, the end of a cycle. Now, I don't think this really means the end of this contract necessarily. Not with the star, right? But we'll see. But this is saying to understand that you're both at the end of an internal cycle that may have nothing to do with each other. And if it does, if this is, a relationship that you've had in your life, a reason, a season, or a lifetime maybe being a family member, then there's really a graduation here. That there is the fulfilling of a cycle of spirit. And again, 1, 2, 3, 4 out of 7 major arcana cards on the table. Pretty powerful. From the outside vibing in, how does this feel? Right? Horizontal plane. If they were to step out of this relationship and feel what's going on there, heart, third eye crown, they would have the Lovers. Okay. Now, the Lovers always talks about a life-changing decision. And I feel like there is a life-changing decision here. Right? Your 5th major arcana card. But certainly Aphrodite, the Lovers here, does speak of a love, a romantic thing here. And with the predominance of major arcana, I'm going to say for a Path of True Love read, this is probably not family. Could be a general read. You take your chances as a reader. Well, we're not necessarily carving it in stone. We're laying on a table, in a cardboard. Well, that's interesting. What's going on in their hopes and fears? Their destiny hewn from fate. The gold they alchemized from lead on the hero's journey of the path of true love. And we've got appraisal. Totally makes sense. The good old-fashioned 7 of Pentacles, stepping back, looking at, evaluating. Do I want to do this? Right? The seeds have already been planted, have blossomed, and are now bearing seeds. What do I want to do with those seeds? Do I want to plant this again? Do I want to sell half of them, eat half of them, right? Raise it to the ground and salt the earth. So there is a looking at what is the value. Think of having a house appraised or a car appraised or a piece of jewelry. It's not the analysis of what is it and what's it made of. It's what's it worth. But that is an internal wisdom thing. The heart, third eye crown dynamic really saying, if both of you could separately say, what have I learned about relationships in general, the stuff that is earth in me, so to speak, that wisdom that cannot be lost, maybe overwritten, but not lost. And there's always a higher level of truth. There's always a higher level of wisdom there. But you might be kind of saying, with this life-changing decision, right now we both need to really reevaluate. We need to appraise what we're doing here. Is it healthy? Is there a way to create a practical resolution to some of the dilemmas that have gone on, either in your own lives before you met, right, that you're bringing to it, or your relationship in general with these two people? My goddesses, please, last card down for this set. What is the most probable outcome, the timeline of this lifetime for the Piscean collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign watching this video, receiving this reading? Okay, we end on the 2 of Blades, analysis. It's 2 fencers. It really is going back and forth in the mind, sort of trying to figure things out. The thing about analysis, definitely a third eye quality, it's kind of more about the gathering of information in order to make an appropriate appraisal, linking those 2 cards for sure. but it is the looking at the spreadsheet. When you analyze something, there's another card in here, criticism, I think it's the 9 of Blades, where it's getting microscopic. This might really be a mental process that both of you come to of really analyzing and looking at it. Think of 2 fencers. They know what moves to make if they've been doing it for a while. But they're not just thinking about their next move or their opponent's next move. They're thinking of the move after that and the move after that. And like choreography, right? I dated a stage fighter once. It was great. It's really cool. Sword fighting. Whoopsie. Oh, right. I'm allowed to say that now. No longer the YPP. Yeah, you know me. Let's do this. Let's get the Mythic Tarot on the table here. This will be the lower 3 chakras, big time relationship chakras. Root chakra is tribes and groups. So if there is a family, a group of friends, a political thing, a national thing, that usually shows up in some way. Second chakra is umbilical. Think the naval relationship, right? One-on-one relationship, as well as the solar plexus is about your personal power, your honor code, your boundaries, what you will, what you won't, what you do, what you don't. And all of this evolves. So, take a nice deep breath. Both feet on the floor, Mark. Here we go. As I call to my gods of water, the sign of Pisces, powers of the West, please, 10 cards. One at a time, straight up, to clarify what's going on the outside. Interesting, very powerful yin dynamic here. Let's look at the yang. Let's look at the external. We've got the Exorcist with the Priestess on the inner, and on the outer, the card of Justice. Well. So certainly, whoever this Exorcist is wants this to be fair, wants this to be balanced. And of course, we've got the Libra card on the inner for the Engineer there. So that's pretty simpatico. What's going on there? The Engineer with the Libra card on the inner. Please show us what's going on the outer, the Tower. So you guys are pulling a lot of major arcana. And I will say, in terms of honor code, it feels like whoever this Exorcist archetype is with that Priestess, they've got a pretty strong spiritual honor code about what they will, what they won't, what they do, what they don't. But with the Engineer being struck by lightning, so to speak, in the outside world, that can mean anything from love at first sight or an insight coming in. Light is truth. So when we're struck by a higher vibrational truth, a lot of times our old belief structures are destroyed, like the Tower. Not that they were bad, but there's always a higher truth. So we often have to dismantle what we believe, because if you want to go Abraham Hicks on that, a belief is just a thought you keep thinking, right? And it builds momentum over time. Not the easiest thing to have it wiped out all at once, but it could be that, particularly because we're looking at an air sign on the inside, right? At least that 7th house, Venusian, Libra, cardinal, air dynamic. And it is a cardinal sign, which is creative, right? All of the kings are cardinal. They create, right? But this is mentally creative, finding that balance, creating balance. So, you know, how that plays itself out, we're going to see, particularly with the star on the inner, right? Feel like that the one with the Exorcist archetype, like, could really tune into this and say, I want to do this fairly, but I can't go by what happened in the past. I can only go by the inspiration, the guidance, and the grace that I'm getting now, and I hope this works out. We'll see how the Engineer plays into that. What's going on there? The Ace of Wands, a new opportunity, a new beginning to start this thing again. Or it's the desire to meet, to kick this thing off, to move it forward into a new cycle, keeping in mind we've got a graduation here in the lesson position. All right, we got the Gemini card in the past there, mutable air. So there's definitely some internal air stuff going on here. What's the external that got them to where they are? The Hierophant. You guys are pulling a lot of major arcana in the spread. So there might have been, well, honestly, if you got the Hierophant on the outer and then the High Priestess on the inner for the Exorcist archetype here, this is definitely some sort of procedural growth. They almost give me the word confirmation, but that's not the word I'm looking for, although that's a stage in the Christian Catholic thing. Formalizing, right? This could be about marriage. This could be about a teacher. But all of that stuff is done in stages. No one's born a Hierophant. Well, it may be vibrationally, but it's a high priest or high priestess here. So there might have been a teacher dynamic here. There might have been formalization. That was the word I think I was looking for there. Formalization here. And there was a lot of internal changing thought about this. Maybe even commitment, marriage, that kind of stuff. Well, let's look at that moon card. Hovering above all of this, that deep emotional thing, but maybe not so mentally clear, right? What's going on there? Lower 3 chakras. Okay, now we have a court card in the external. This could be a person, could be either one of you. I think this would single out one of you for sure. If it is, the Queen of Wands, the Leo card, fixed fire. Creativity, good fortune, play, pleasure. I like 5 house. I'm Leo rising. Can't you tell? Meow. It's a cat made out of stars, by the way. So I would think this would lean more towards the engineer here, if this is one of the two of you. But it could be somebody really a bit mysterious on the inner, but on the outer, very charismatic, very Leo. There's always a tendency for narcissism with that I am the sun and everything else is in orbit around me, but any sign can have narcissistic tendencies. But the vibe I get on this is somebody, or at least even if this is more about the 5th house dynamic, that there is this external, playful, pleasurable, basking in the sun kind of vibe, because this is a solar card, right, Leo, but on the inside there is this depth. So there might be something coming in here that seems like, well, let's just play it light, because I know what that feels like. When you have very strong attraction to somebody and it's mutual and you're like, let's not rush this, let's just play and let's just see how this goes. Because you're walking on water, but that water can feel like it's 10,000 fathoms beneath your feet. There's a lot of hidden stuff going on there. And sure, with this next card, the Sorrow card, you guys might be trying to skate over some emotional, I want to say emotional baggage more than emotional pain. It does say sorrow, because again, who doesn't have wounds of loss, right? Who doesn't need to grieve something still? So my gods, what does that look like on the outer? Yeah, 3 of Swords, guys. It looks like, 3 of Swords, everybody goes heartache, heartbreak, heartbreak, heartbreak. This is about getting to the heart of the matter. 5 of Cups is heartbreak. 3 of Swords is getting to the heart of the matter. It's element of air. It's thought. So this might, both of you being saying, all right, there's something going on here. I think the engineer is triggered. Triggered, right? That triggered something that needed to come to the surface. Coming up all at once is very much a trigger here. But I feel like you're both going to do some introspection here, considering that you end up in the 2 of Blades here, Heart, Third Eye, Crown. There's definitely an opportunity coming here for both of you. Now, I'm talking specifically to the Pisces, unless of course the Crosswatcher has Pisces placement as well. We tend to be empaths, and I don't mean the empath versus narcissist kind of empath that people are talking about. I'm talking about the original meaning, about feeling someone's emotions or energies outside of you, but in your own cell tissue. It feels like whatever emotional baggage was either created previously in this relationship or happened for both of you previously before you met is playing a role here. In this way, the 3 of Swords can be about introspection, but it feels like the outcome here is going to be an internal analysis of yourself and what's going on here. So I wouldn't necessarily take that as a Three of Swords, a heartbreak, unless it's dealing with previous heartbreaks that never fully healed. And that's not the easiest thing in the world. For sure, particularly if this is a rebound situation, right? You're carrying that stuff with it. In You Can Heal Your Life by Louise Hay, she uses the metaphor of a frying pan. That if you're frying fish for dinner and you want scrambled eggs in the morning, you kind of want to scrub out that pan, right? So there could be some of that going on here. And certainly, I don't know if counseling will go on here. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. You do you. But that Three of Swords is definitely about a deeper introspection, getting to the heart of the matter here. Particularly if you feel like you're stuck between a rock and a hard place. Wanting to move forward in this, but also being terrified, afraid, sad about stuff that's gone on. Yeah, no reason you can't slow it down, though. Although I will say that Gemini card in the past with the Hierophant on the outer, there might have been a lot of mental excitement of what could be done here in terms of a committed relationship. And now as you're moving forward, it's like, let's slow this down and lighten it up. Let's have some fun. And then, boom. You start really getting to the heart of the matter inside of yourself. All right, this is why if you heal one of your relationships a little bit, you heal all of them a little bit. All right, my gods, they're definitely at the end of a cycle here. But Shakti, the life dancer, Shakti is its own kind of energy in the Sanskrit Vedic paradigm, right? So there is an ending and a new beginning here near simultaneously. The full moon in the cards certainly shows that something has come to fruition. This can be about spiritual maturity, but definitely at the end of a cycle. What's that look like on the outer? Ten of Cups. Ten of Cups? Come on, this is my true love card. This is Eros and Psyche. They were married in the Three of Cups, but, she was mortal, although she has a Harmonia as a mother, grandmother, goddess of marital accord. Here we really have where at the very end, the end of the journey, Psyche is elevated to a goddess, right? So that her and her beloved Eros, god of erotic and romantic love, can be together on Olympus. So I really feel like it's not that this relationship is over, but the spiritual growth and development that the lesson entails here can get you to that place where both of your cups runneth over. But the issue here is emotional. We have got the moon card, right? We've got that Four of Cups. I mean, it's not predominant water on the table. If anything, it seems to be predominant major arcana. But that's why I think this is way more of every relationship has some aspect of a soul contract in it. But that the healing, twin flame or soulmate. If you're soulmate, you're going to help each other heal this. If you're twin flame, you're going to teach each other how to heal yourself. Watch some of those videos down there. Matt Kahn's video, Soul Contracts, Twin Flames, and Soulmates Redefined. Much healthier definition than anything we've had previously. Okay. Lovers on the inner. So, of course, there's a life-changing decision here, particularly if there was a real discussion, a real mental moving forward about commitment here with this Hierophant. The Exorcist wanting to do it justly or not at all. The engineer just shook, right? The Tower card there. And with this lesson, that can really bring you guys to the true love place. Unconditional love, divine love, manifested is what this lesson is about. And sometimes that means you let each other go. Sometimes it does mean that. But let's see, with that life-changing decision, the lovers on the outer, on the inner, double whammy, you got the World. Your first double whammy, this being the World card in the lesson. This is really saying that this relationship is ready to graduate and move on to its next level or end. Again, the free will aspect of a general reading. When I do these readings with private clients, we go in. We go in and we talk about it and we pull cards based on how the client is feeling. So you're only double whammies so far. Two cards, same card, two different decks. All right, so their hopes and fears here, their destiny hewn from fate on the hero's journey path of true love. Seven of Pentacles appraisal on the inner. What's the outer? The devil. The devil, you gotta face your fears. You gotta face the chains that bind you. Break chains of illusion and set all things to right. Reveal what has been hidden and bring the truth to light. This is shadow work. This is feeling the uncomfortable stuff, but within yourselves. And it's the god Pan. Unfortunately, they made it the devil. I understand why, the goat horns and all of that. But it can be about primal motives, too. The sex might be amazing. It absolutely could be. But, you know, this could also be about codependent patterning. And I'm sorry, if you grew up in the Western world, I don't know how you escaped it. It's not always about the family we get codependent stuff from. It can be all sorts of things. And there's a great mantra in the Matt Kahn Healing Mantra deck, last card down, when we get there. Unraveling codependency. Only I have to feel good about my choices. Yeah. All right, last card down for this, though. The Mythic Tarot, my gods of water, the sign of Pisces, and powers, sorry, stubbed my toe a little bit, powers of the West, analysis on the inner, what's on the outer here, most probable outcome, this timeline of this lifetime for the Pisces. The Fool. Again, somewhat, you guys are going to take a leap of faith, going from the World card, double whammy, to the Fool, but it will be well thought out. At least the analysis will be done. At least there will be some communication here, expressing not just what you think or what you feel, but what you both think about what you feel. Right? And it is two people here. Now, that just because they're fencing doesn't mean that this is an argument. That's always more like 5 of swords or 5 of blades for me. This is more like two people kind of going back and forth. Fencing, yes, is an aggressive defensive game, but there are rules, right? You're not allowed to kill your opponent. That this person might be a good foil for you, which is an interesting word. That's fencing, the swordy thing is called swordy thing. It's called a foil, but it's also a foil is a whole other thing. Spelt the same way though, different than tin or aluminum. So, all right, I gotta do this. How many major arcana cards? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. My God, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 out of 20 cards on the table. That is a predominance. This is definitely the spiritual way through this. It feels like the Exorcist has a little bit more leverage there, particularly if they stick to that justice. Right? It's like, no, we're doing this fairly or we're not at all. This is the goddess Athena, the gray-eyed one. The goddess of wisdom and combat, by the way, 2 of swords there. So is really not going to budge on this. That high priestess on the inner, it's like, I don't see them sacrificing their spiritual values for this. And it might be that this exorcist's power has really triggered the engineer. And I will say, with that Libra on the inner, there's a strong attraction, minor at least, right? The most eau de toilette, thing. But they could very much be in love with you if you are the exorcist. We're going to take a little detour to Oracle land here, the Whispers of Love Oracle. Both of you are going to get one of these. The voices of the higher selves, please. Oh, that feels good. Take a nice deep breath. As I call upon the higher selves of all involved, 5th dimension and above, 8th chakra and above. What is the whisper of love for both of these two in this Piscean collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign? Path of True Love read, one for the Exorcist, face down, sure, and one for the Engineer, face down. Let's have a look-see-dooksy. Exorcist, High Priestess, Justice, New Love. New love. Embrace this new opportunity of love that is here. This may pertain to work opportunities or spiritual growth. This does say that this is a new relationship or a relationship that has gone on Because why else would that justice card be there in that case, right? It's like, I'm not doing this unless it's fair, unless it's ethical, unless it meets, my own spiritual alignment as the exorcist here. But certainly to take the spiritual growth here, that's what the path of true love is about. Because you know what? When we croak, spoiler alert, everybody does, except Nosferatu, and that's no deal. Vampirism. We're going to take off the costume and makeup, and we're going to meet the actors, the souls that we contracted with. Remember, outside of this world, higher planes, whatever you want to call it, we are genderless, birthless, deathless, ageless, all of that. Actors coming in to play these roles. For the engineer, speak the language of love, right? So we got the engineer, the Libra card. I have Venus in Libra. When I fall in love with somebody, I am as poetic as fuck. It's ridiculous. It just flows out of me. But if they've been struck by lightning with the tower, they might be besotted with, isn't that a great word? Besotted with the exorcist here. Speak the language of love. Loving words have the power to change someone's life, including your own. So if you are the engineer here, I think your common dilemma, the resolution to this common dilemma is about speaking the language of love, not in a manipulative way, but to be honest, to be fair. Again, we have the Justice card on the outer for the Exorcist, and we have the Libra card, certainly a card of justice as well, on the inner for this engineer. This can be done well. It's not going to be easy. But it is going to take honesty. And what's the point of the path of true love without truth and honesty? Yeah. All right. You're going to go to a different pantheon here. The spirit animals and totems here for this. The Divine Animals Oracle. I do need the bookie book for this one and the magnifying glass because frickin' nano font, but a lot of good info in the book. Please take a nice deep breath. I'm going to tune myself to that pantheon as I call upon the animal spirits and totems for the Piscean collective sun, moon, rising, Venus sign, and or cross watcher watching this video, receiving this reading on the path of true love. What is the Divine Animals Oracle message here from the totems and the spirit animals for these two on the path of true love, an exorcist and an engineer? Bison, not to be confused with Dyson. The vacuum, I love my Dyson. Bison, card number 35, ritual. Come here, ritual. Definitely Hierophant is a card of stages, repetitive stages of ritual. Let's see what this is about. 35 here. I don't think this one has come up a whole bunch. I haven't had the deck that long, only since this summer. Let me read this for you. Card number 35, the Bison. Live with authenticity and peace. It's on the table. Do not live how other people wish you to live. Your life is yours. Bringing the peace of ritual into our lives can heal us. Nourish yourself and develop habits that are beneficial and useful for you and your family. Now that's going to resonate differently for someone with a high priestess on the inner, right? And that is about spiritual ritual. Ritual just means an action of intent repeated. That's all it means. I mean, every morning I brush my teeth and then I have my coffee. Blech, right? But I used to do it the other way around. It's like, give me my coffee first because I didn't want the toothpaste taste in my mouth, but it was much better. So, you change your rituals as you go. I'm going to read the magic here. There's a lot of info in this. There's a teeny tiny little paragraph. The magic. Here we go. The magic of the bison is an ancient one that asks us to put aside the everyday and connect in with the natural world and that of the spirits. Having everyday rituals, it is an important touchstone for mental and spiritual help. Keeping to good and positive ritual and habits for ourselves is something with which the bison can help us. And that does make sense here. It's kind of saying that, all right, getting a clairvoyant flash, a practical magic, the movie. Well, you do what you do, and I do what I do, and we'll see where we end up. Oh, Inspector Hallett. One blue eye, one green eye. One brown eye. So, you know, the bison there is very, very powerful. I mean, an indigenous American shamanic totem, big time here for you. So look to your rituals. Here's, well, when I teach ritual design, and I will again, I give an assignment to my students, and I say, for a week, write down everything that you do the first hour of your day or so, right? Don't change anything, just write it down. Then at the end of that week, look at the symbolic correspondences. For example, brushing your teeth is removing the words from yesterday and spitting it out, starting clean. Coffee. Coffee beans ruled by Saturn, the hard worker, the teacher, right? You're drinking coffee, starting clockwise, all of these things. And then once you see how you're setting yourself up every day, because it is a morning ritual, you can begin to tweak it and go, oh, well, what if I did that instead of that? Oh, and you're given some more freedom. And certainly, I didn't even think of that until it popped in right now. What is the ritual between the two of you? Like, who contacts who first? Really look at that and make sure that you are not stuck in a rut of doing the same thing over and over and over again, right? What is insanity? Doing the same thing over and over again and expecting something different. Something like that. Let's get the Let's Guard down. Excuse me. The Matt Kahn Healing Mantra deck. His work has really transformed my life. He's younger than I am. He's West Coast. I'm East Coast. I'm in New York. So, you know, it was quite the serendipitous thing to come across his YouTube channel. Saved my life in a lot of ways. And this deck is so powerful as a tool for me and for a lot of my clients. Please take a nice deep breath. For who better to ask than the Ascended Masters of the Path of True Love? My beloveds, one card in clarity, the perfect healing mantra for this Piscean collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign Path of True Love reading involving an Exorcist archetype and an Engineer archetype. Regardless of which one is watching this, what is the perfect healing mantra so they can move this forward in this timeless read? Unhooking the past. There's nothing to regret when I learn from my past. That's what this is. That's totally what this is. So again, if you've just met or you haven't met yet, it's very easy to take regrets from the past into something new. Again, Louise Hay, frying pan, fish eggs, caviar metaphor, go for it. But even if there was mistakes, errors, pain before, then it really does inform this Three of Blades with the Four of Cups on the inner. This is about both of you going within and doing the necessary work to learn from what has gone on in the past, unhooking the past, like fish, like unhooking. Here we go. There's nothing to regret when I learn from my past. When you, right? And isn't this about graduation, your lesson here? And it's a true love lesson? Got it. When you unhook the past, you are able to see crucial moments of growth from fresh perspectives. This allows you to see the mistakes of your past as catalysts for development, not as something you did wrong. Now that's really hard from the ego's point of view, but it's how the soul sees everything. All right? It's like, I'm an immortal being that came into physical form to play this game and learn through relationships, in this case, an Exorcist-Engineer relationship, right? So you can't get it wrong. You're gonna, if the goal is to learn and grow and heal and evolve, you can't get it wrong. There are no mistakes in that. But the ego is like, but what about? And that's fine too, but that's the stuff that you're carrying behind you. Right? We all do it. It is an opportunity to see how your previous actions could have been better aligned with your highest values. Exorcist, High Priestess there for sure. When you learn today the things you didn't know before, you are able to meet your current circumstances with renewed clarity, so the past can be unhooked instead of repeat. You guys are getting the opportunity. If this is a chocolate shit show in the past, you have the opportunity to turn that shit into fertilizer and grow something new here. But it's not easy. The course of true love never did run smooth. Midsummer Night's Dream. Billy Shakespeare. Dated him. Didn't marry him, dated him. This mantra is ideal for overcoming self-criticism, releasing shame. Guilt as I've done wrong, shame as I am wrong. And being more open-minded. And, you know, with the air, there's not a whole lot of air on this table, except for the Libra and for the Three of Swords and, well, for the Two of Blades and the outcome here. So this can really be about analyzing the past, right, on the inner, so that you can have this new beginning. And with the lesson being the World card, the universe, it's wrapping up old stuff from the past in a Ten of Cups context, in a true love context. I dig it. Let me give you the blessing to put this all together. Both feet on the floor if you can. Focus on your breath. Here we go. Breathe. As I call upon the collective pantheons of the divine for the Piscean collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign, watching this video, receiving this reading, may they be blessed with all that they need on the path of true love, whether they be the Exorcist, freeing themselves and others of destructive impulse, or whether they be the Engineer, discovering their ability to give creative energy a practical expression, and discovering their talent for designing solutions to common dilemmas, like something went on in the past and let's heal that so that we can move on, because everybody does that in all sorts of different ways, shapes, and forms, so that the Exorcist the High Priestess Exorcist Justice card here can embrace this opportunity of new love, even if it was tricky in the past to do this from new spiritual wisdom, though they may not be talking about it right now, and the spiritual growth that's available to them as well. And for this Engineer, that they can speak the language of love, really coming from their heart with that Libra on the inside, that they might be struck by the Tower or be delivering that lightning strike. Because loving words have the power to change someone's life, including their own. And that they do this in some sort of safe ritual way, looking at their own personal rituals, getting themselves stronger and healthier, right? Being authentic to who they are in that process. No pretending going on here, which is tricky for Pisces when they're empathically connected to someone, because they can feel the discomfort and then they adjust themselves. No. To really build that solid foundation within them, and maybe talk about this, deal with this in a way that will bring great healing to both of them as they both unhook the past, because there's nothing to regret when they learn from their past. And may they learn from their past and move forward into this new love. The Fool card jumping in again in this true love lesson for them. That as they heal, they grow, they learn, they love each other and themselves in equal proportions. We all heal, grow, learn, evolve, and love ourselves and everyone else a little bit more. What could be that other than for the well-being of all and with harm to none, as we will it, so let it be done. So mote it be. And so it is. Path of true love reads are never easy. Well, they may be simple. Do this, but simple need not imply easy. So, if you want to look at this in a private read, booking a reading with Mal, watch the video. It's 13 minutes. It's a lot of fun. And get ready. My Patreon is coming, honey. Woo, I'm going to be doing stuff on there every day. I just know it. I'm so excited for that. So, thank you so much for watching. If you liked the video, please like it. Helps other Pisceans see it. And certainly, if you feel like commenting, please do. And if you want more, hit that subscription button and that notification bell, because I am glad to serve. And it really is my honor, my Pisceans, my fishy family, my people. Hail, farewell, and blessed be.